Well, we have got a lot to get to tonight on the Locker Room. You and I were at Lindsey Nelson this weekend.
That's right.
I took in Saturday. You took in Sunday. What'd you take in?
He took in a state championship for Catholic girls basketball.
Did you really?
That's what I was doing. I didn't get the invite, though. At least invite me, and then I can say no.
Next time we'll give you the invite. We sit out in the outfield in one of those little box things, one of the porches.
I like the porch.
Box thing.
Yeah, and I was yelling at some guy from Gonzaga. We were yelling at him, what is a zag? The guy never turned around and acknowledged us.
Because he doesn't know.
Oh,
well, he's also one of those.
Yeah, I didn't know. I felt my wife was embarrassed. Okay, so Tennessee basketball has played itself into a second-round game, if you will, missing the double bye after the loss the other day. Does that make a difference for Tennessee?
Just one extra game. I don't think it makes a difference because ultimately I think Missouri was going to beat the winner of Ole Miss and South Carolina, just like I think Tennessee will beat the winner of Ole Miss and South Carolina, and those two are going to play each other anyway. Mm-hmm. So, I just think it means just one more. Honestly, without Ziegler, I think it's a good thing to play an extra game because I think you're still trying to figure out who you are, what you want to be, and kind of how you want to get there. So, it's one extra game, so trying to win the SEC tournament, it makes it a little more difficult. But trying to figure out who you are as a team without Zakai Ziegler, I think it's actually a good thing.
You know, there's always that question when you get to tournament time, does it help a team to have played a game in that gym on those rims before you start playing the legitimate opponents? And I know that can get you beat by a team that says we're legitimate too, but does it help Tennessee before they play Missouri?
I think it can. I mean, I think it really goes all back to how Tennessee plays offensively, not letting the ball stick and making free throws and taking good shots and making shots. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. We know this team's going to play great defense. That's the only question about this basketball team. So I'm not really concerned about them playing an extra game. It is a game that you could lose because you play it, but I'm not really concerned about playing the extra game. I think Austin made a really good point.
Wait a minute. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I know. Once every once in a while.
But
he made a really good point about adapting without Zakai Ziegler.
Mm-hmm. I will say this.
Good job,
Remember
Austin.
a couple of years ago during football season, you guys spent a lot of time talking about the offensive line. You know, how many games that the offensive line all played together and what a disadvantage that was because they didn't have the continuity. I kind of feel like that's where the basketball team is now because of the injury bug to Triple J, because of Julian's situation, and now Zakai's situation. And despite that Triple J is back and Julian is back, you had so many moving parts. It's just hard to have the consistency you need going into tournament time.
Yeah, the goalposts continually have moved for Rick Barnes. But it's forced guys to step up. Jahmai Mashack, we'll have him later on in the show. He's a different player now than he was a month ago. You know, Tobey Awaka is a different player now than he was a month ago. Mm-hmm. Would those players have stepped up? Maybe, but there's no guarantee. And so now I do feel like they can be counted on more than they could have 6 weeks ago, just because they've proven themselves.
Take up the slack.
Yeah, I mean, individually, this team is, I think, comprised of a bunch of guys that have faced adversity. I think they'll be able to bounce back. The injury to Z is just different because it's your point guard. It's the guy that makes everything go. It's your heart and soul. Tennessee was able to kind of play on with Josiah being out or Julian being out, Tyreek being out. But when you have the guy out, the guy that makes everything go, I think it's going to be a little bit harder for this team to adapt. So them playing extra game in the SEC tournament may bode well.
Is it similar at all? Maybe this is a dumb analogy, I don't know. But is it similar at all to losing your quarterback?
Sure it is.
Yes, absolutely.
It's very much so.
Yeah, because the point guard is the best extension of your coach on the court. And then your quarterback is your extension of the coach on the football field. So, yeah, they're the leaders. And when you lose them, it hurts.
Yeah, I mean, again, he carries himself with such a swagger and such and has that kind of burning, deep fire, internal, just kind of
just
drive.
Say fire in his belly,
yeah, you can say fire in the belly. I was going to say drive.
Okay.
That you miss that. Like he was that bulldog. Even if he was having an off night, the confidence was never going to waver.
He never had an off night defensively.
What I feel like you just introduced is our next guest, because we're going to take a break, and Tennessee baseball coach Tony Vitello is going to join us here. You talk about what are the things you said? Fire in his belly.
Sure, internal drive.
Internal drive. The things that you said. those phrases actually describe the leader of the Tennessee baseball program. We'll take a break. We've got Mashack from the basketball team a little bit later in the show, but Tony Vitello joins us next in the locker room right after this.
The Locker Room is brought to you by Fellowship of Christian Athletes, Iris Networks, Knoxville Orthopedic Clinics, and Exterior Home Solutions.
When it comes to the game of football, teamwork is critical for success. When it comes to customer service and business, that team approach is just as critical. That's why we're such believers in our friends at Exterior Home Solutions. We have seen firsthand how Exterior Home Solutions has supported our community and treats their customers just like family. So when it comes to roofing, siding, or maybe a complete overhaul, please make Exterior Home Solutions your first and only call.
Land that corporate dream job. Recalculating. Getting the representation and compensation you deserve? You have arrived. OEB Law is there for all of life's detours.
Reporting from Ted Russell Ford, Nick and Jake with some breaking news. That's right, Nick. The pre-owned patrol's on a new mission, and by new, we mean new Fords. The forecast says we have new Ford F-150s, Escapes, Explorers, Mustangs, and more arriving on our lot daily. The best part is every new Ford comes with our non-factory limited lifetime warranty. You heard it here first. Stop by one of our 2 convenient locations for the best selection on your new Ford. The new Ford of your dreams awaits you at Ted Russell Ford on Kingston Pike or Parkside Drive.
I chose LMU because I wanted doors to open for me. For my future to have endless possibilities. To know I could become anything I wanted to be. Objection, Your Honor. I always wanted to say that. So whether I wanted to be a veterinarian, a high school teacher, let's turn to page 32, or a successful dentist, I knew LMU would help me get there. All I had to do was open the door.
Do you want top-of-the-line fitness equipment for home, school, or work? New or reconditioned, Dynabody in Maryville has everything you need to build that gym. Used equipment brands include Paramount, Life Fitness, Nautilus, Hammer Strength, and Precor. Reach for the power with Dynabody.
You know, we talk about Humana on the court, and a guy that we talked to in studio and we'll talk to on our preview show for the SEC Tournament Wednesday is that guy, B.J. Edwards out of Catholic. Hasn't really been called on yet to fill in for Zakai Ziegler, but you wonder if the local product's going to be called on at some point in the SEC Tournament or the NCAA Tournament. He's a guy that really just kind of has to be ready, waiting for his turn as you get to tournament time. Let's welcome in Tony Vitello. He is, would you say, who's more popular, this guy or Heupel?
Vitello.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, football is always going to be king, but this guy, he knows how to work the donors, the fans. I mean, it's impressive, man. You watch him work a room?
Tony, how much do you love this place?
I absolutely love it. Enough to invest in a couple properties here so my family can enjoy it with me. I mean, they all are still scattered in Missouri, but they attended this weekend. And then now we have roots here as an entire coaching staff.
Yeah.
Everyone's got a place that they now reside. Before, we were all just moving around like crazy and on the road recruiting. And now we got some newborns on the way on staff. I'm not a part of that.
I was about to say, we're making an announcement.
Have those been announced?
No, we're not going to announce that on TV if that ever happens. But no, it's a tremendous place. And I remember when we first got the job in recruiting, we were trying to sell a vision to the players we were recruiting and saying we could get up to 5,000 fans in this stadium, which is a quaint stadium. And now today's a reflection upon where we're at. We're going to get at least 5,000 fans every game. So it's one thing that kind of shows how things have changed. And certainly we admire our fans for coming out the way they do.
How much taller can the porches get, Tony?
I don't. After that wind that took place on Friday, we almost lost a game due to wind. I've never experienced that. Fortunately, we got it in, got the win, and we had a big crowd in bad weather. But I don't think we need to go to a fourth deck. Maybe spread out from here.
I will tell you this. My company does the production of the broadcast on TV for you guys over there, and it's the first game ever, the other night on Friday. We could not put a manned camera out in center field. Had to put a robotic camera and lock it down because the wind was so severe.
Yeah, it was nuts. Just to play was great. The fact that we played well and had a win where we beat a really good pitcher. I mean, Dolander's a stud for us, but their guy Wild was basically matching him pitch for pitch. But we got it done, and there were people on that up there on that third deck.
You started to hit the ball. You've won 11 in a row. Even the 2 games you lost, I mean, it just didn't have the bats going. Pitching was there. And now all of a sudden the bats have shown up. Kyle Booker started to swing with a little more pop. Maui started to get a little more confident. You moved him to the leadoff spot earlier today. Kind of take me through where you kind of see this thing morphing, and is it almost complete kind of where you want it to be? I mean, I know it's baseball, it constantly changes because of matchups, but like Maui being the leadoff guy, you see him being the leadoff guy going forward and Dickey being in the 5-hole?
Yeah, I think he's got potential to do that. We're very left-handed, so to balance it out a little bit is one challenge. And then also there's a lot of guys who have not played a full season, basically everybody.
Sure.
No one has played a full season for the Vols in our program, and so seeing where everybody fits best, but also how do we get that group of 9 working to where they can take a chunk out of a guy like Wild Gonzaga's Friday. That's not a nickname for him, that's his last name, but he's a big draft pick, and when you face a guy like that on Friday night in the SEC, you need all 9 to do something to kind of take a bite out of the guy, and then eventually maybe somebody can get a chunk for you. And we've got a bunch of guys that are capable of doing that, just searching for that right grouping, and I'm not so sure today wasn't the best to date we've had offensively, top to bottom.
You've gotten rolling since obviously you lost the first 2 games of the year. You go into a year after everybody's saying all nice things about you, start number 2 in the country. Was it almost a good thing in the sense that you talked about you got so many new guys out there that you say, you got to earn your own stripes?
Certainly. No, I think it's, entitlement is a favorite word for us older folks, so I'll just speak for myself. Mm-hmm. You caution the younger generation about feeling entitled. It's a word that gets thrown around a lot. And now we're at a point in our program, we've caught up to a lot of the other ones on this campus that are doing so well, where maybe kids think because they're wearing our jersey that people are going to bow down to them, or they're worthy of rankings, or they're going to be this or that. You got to earn it every day. And maybe to get smacked in the mouth a little bit down there helps remind all of us, including the coaching staff. Ideally, you win 2 out of 3 down there, but now that you reflect on it, playing in that environment we played at Grand Canyon, I don't know they'll ever have a bigger or rowdier crowd, because our fans contributed to that as well. And then playing Arizona, a packed team with a guy that's a potential first rounder on the mound. It gives us a vision of what SEC ball is going to be like when it starts, so there's no reason our guys should be shocked when that rolls along. Who's the one guy that's performing maybe better than you thought going into the season? Well, everyone wants to talk about the run that Blake Burke is on. I mean, it'll balance out into being a great year for him. He works too hard and he's too skilled. I don't think he's exceeding anyone's expectations. Coach Elander's as close with him as anyone, our third base coach. He's the one who originally saw him, and I know he's not surprised. But the guy I think is doing really well for us is Charlie Taylor. Behind the plate, we expect consistency, leadership, but he's also just given us great at-bats. The nice thing is we've got 3 other catchers, including today's guy, Cal Stark, we can lean on. But Chuck has kind of solidified himself as the guy who's going to open up an SEC series for us on Friday, and not just catch well, but do other things well, including be at the plate.
How did you turn into the guy that so many other programs love to hate? Because this fan base loves you because there's a swagger about Tony Vitello that they're like, this is our guy and we're going to battle behind this guy. But how did that happen?
Well, I'm going to play the blame game and mention the fans that you just did. I don't think a lot of the things that go on in all of athletics here at University of Tennessee could go on at other places.
Right.
It requires a key ingredient, which is not just a huge fan base, but a rabid, maniacal, passionate, anything that's extreme and falls under the category of a dynamic fan base, it feeds it. It feeds it. And I think when we've achieved some things in the past or done some things that maybe have a little controversy to them, our fans are going to have our back just like we have theirs.
Sure.
Or they're going to, celebrate a big win. And, in this conference, people don't like that. But I'll tell you what, guys that are getting to be athletes in this league, and coaches too, but the kids got it better. They are living the best possible life you can. And I don't care if it's softball, basketball, football. the fan bases, the facility, the media coverage, it's insane. It's better. You can ask our guys that have been drafted. It's better than a lot of pro sports, what goes on in this league. And we love to hate each other, but there's also instances where we see fans at the hotel and they're complimentary of our guys.
Sure.
Or we host some fans on the porch, and then when we go to their stadium, they barbecue for our fans and they cuss each other out at certain times, if I can say that on TV. And if you're an athlete in the SEC, you're living a good life.
Last big test, and we'll get you out on this, last big test before SEC play starts midweek. Boston College rolls in. Kind of give Tennessee fans a scout on them, and then Tennessee fans, you want to get out for that one. That's going to be a big one coming up midweek.
They're always competitive. They're always ornery to play against. We had a very good team at Missouri. That's the last time that I've seen them across the way in another dugout, and we lost. They're tough kids from the Northeast. They're smart. And they play that way in that combination with those two. And then they've also always got talent. It's a well-coached team. If I'm not mistaken, they're 8 or 9-1, and they'll roll in here and potentially be. I've already been complimentary of some teams. Gonzaga's lineup, especially. We've seen some good teams, but this could be the best team that we face to date before we roll into our last weekend to prepare for SEC play.
Well, I will say this: we both went to games this weekend. Like I said before, I went Saturday, he went Sunday. Baseball has turned into an event here. And some people that went to the game Saturday said, I haven't been there since Todd Helton went. And when the game was over, like, we're going back next week. So congratulations on what you did. Can I believe you've been here 6 years now?
Yeah, you got to kind of put an asterisk next to one of those years with what went on. We kind of got cheated there. All of us did in a lot of ways. But it's been some time, and we've grown, and there's new standards, not just for us, but the fans obviously expect a lot too.
Appreciate you coming out. Let's do it again, okay?
For sure. I'll come with a coat on next time. I feel a little underdressed. I'll dress snazzy next time.
Underdressed with Austin? Hey, when we come back, we're switching back into basketball, the Food City Player Perspective when we come back.
The Locker Room is brought to you by Commercial Bank, Humana, E2 Sports, and OEB Law. The Locker Room is brought to you in part by Knoxville Orthopedic Clinics, the exclusive orthopedic provider for University of Tennessee athletics for over 70 years.
This is the story of John Smith. Not this John Smith, or this John Smith, or any of the other hundreds of John Smiths that are Humana Medicare Advantage members. No, it's this John Smith, who we paired with a Humana team member to help address his own specific health needs. At Humana, we take a personal approach to your health to provide care that's just as unique as you are, no matter what your name is.
Behind every Food City meat and seafood counter is a highly trained, certified butcher. Our butchers offer special orders, custom cuts, and even entire meal recommendations. In fact, you'll be so impressed with our butchers, you'll be asking yourself, what can't they do?
Huh, I bet he'd be great at wrapping presents.
Okay, well, maybe not that. But at Food City, our butchers make almost everything better.
At D1, our slogan is the place for the athlete. But who is the athlete? While you'll see a number of our athletes on courts and fields, not all of those athletes are starting left tackle in the football game. We pride ourselves with being the place for all athletes, 7 to 70, mom or son, dad or daughter, with locations all over Tennessee. And we have training programs for every athlete. So stop by any of our locations and let's find the best athlete in you.
Well, we talk about those guys that now all of a sudden you get to tournament time. Who can you count on? Our guest now is one of those guys that may be depended on.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And whether it's, playing off the ball at the 2 or 3 or handling the ball, with Zakai Ziegler out, Jahmai Mashack is poised and ready to do what he can to help this basketball team, Jason.
Yeah, Mashack, 5 minutes a game last year, now 17 minutes a game. During that time last year, what did you learn that helped you this year be able to play and be counted on and make plays?
I think it's the pressures, really. You know, back then when you're just watching guys play, you see the ups and downs, you see the stuff that they're going through and, you know, how the crowd reacts, neutral sites, away games. I think just learning all that experience helps me a lot now, and just it helps me build my character on how to handle things like that.
Brandon Miller, that assignment, a lot of people can't produce going up against probably the best freshman in the country, one of the best players in the country, and you were able to have a lot of success against Brandon Miller. What was it that allowed you to be successful against him?
I think it's scouting. It's scouting. You look at guys play, you look at their tendencies, you know, they look at what they like to do, what they like to work on, and you try to attack those, you know. So when you have somebody like that on the court who doesn't have a lot of weaknesses, tall guard, you know, likes to handle the ball, can shoot it, get to the basket, you try to limit his success and stuff that he likes to do. And I think that helped me a lot, you know, with Brandon, because he's a good player. But when you're scouting, as long as I do and the coaching staff does, man, you can get a lot of guys down, and that's what I was doing going into that game.
Coming in Tennessee, you know, we saw your film. You're regarded as one of the most freakishly athletic guys to come in Tennessee. Defense was ahead of offense. We saw that last year. But, man, this year, offensive game has taken a huge step. What led to that? What did you do during the summer to lead to your offensive game being at the point where it is right now?
I think a lot of it was my jump shot. I think the second thing was probably pace. You know, when you're such of a defensive guy like I am, I'm aggressive, I'm active, you have to learn to slow yourself down on offense and not get too rushed on that end, you know, and I think that's important for somebody like me. So going into there, I knew jump shooting was going to be important just to stretch out the defense and respect my shot. I also feel like just that pace of play, slowing myself down, getting my teammates open, getting myself open, and I think it works out all at the end.
Who are some guys, college, pro, guys that maybe play before but don't play now? Who are some guys you look at maybe defensively, you look at how they play the game, or offensively?
You know, I think one of the guys that used to go here, Josh Richardson, that was a guy that I looked at sometime. You know, guys in the NBA, probably Drew Holiday, Donovan Mitchell. I love their offensive and defensive ability. Just, you know, really great two-way players. And I think that's my biggest motto, and what the goal I'm trying to get to the most is being a great two-way player on both ends, somebody that you can trust coming down and locking up and going on the other end and getting you a bucket or an assist or a rebound. So I think that's important.
How comfortable are you playing the point guard position? Now that Zakai is out for the season, how comfortable are you playing that position?
I think I'm pretty comfortable with it. It's something that I had to learn a lot, and you know, with the coaches and even with Z just giving me advice on stuff like he's noticed, it helps, you know, and I think I'm getting more and more comfortable every game that we've played, and I think it's something that I can handle. You know, I'm willing to do anything to help my team win because, you know, I love this program, I love this team, and it's important to me that we come out on top.
Man, how cool is it to see, you know, guys like Toby Awaka go out there and just play like a man amongst boys, even though he is a true freshman?
It's important, man. You don't get wins, especially not the wins that we get without guys like that. You know, he puts everything, he puts his all into this team, and you can see it on the court. Just he goes for every rebound. He's flying up and down the court, and he's actually a very smart player too. So when you have guys like that, I think it's important, and it motivates you to go out and want to do the same thing because, you know, he's putting his body on the line to help the team win, and that's important, and it stands out for me and the team.
Describe this locker room. Describe the culture with this basketball team.
It's know me first attitude. You know, it's team first, and I think that's important with any team that you're playing with. You know, for us, we really like to put our teammates first, and we really like to have our backs. And I think that's great when you have a locker room full of guys who are so unselfish and so worried about, you know, the next step and the winning, the competitiveness. I think those are just all the keys to win and the keys to love the game and love the team. And I think that's why we're so close right now, because we get after it every day, and we know we have each other's backs.
Had some big time wins this year, beating Kansas, beating Alabama, two teams that will be number 1 seeds. But you've had some heartbreaking losses. Mizzou, Vanderbilt on last-second shots. What did you guys learn from that moment? What was the message amongst each other during those losses?
I think that's the biggest thing, was just staying together, man. You know, losses are going to happen. It happens with every team, you know, and with stuff like that, you got to learn to stay together. You can't break apart because, you know, like you said, the wins that we've had because we were together. And we were going to lose some. It happens. But that adversity, I think, is going to build us stronger each and every game. And it builds us up to, you know, this time postseason. I think you guys are going to really see it flourish through these next couple games, these next couple weeks. But, yeah, with stuff like that, you got to just take the losses and you got to learn that we learn from those, we grow from those, and we move on. And we continue to be a better team for that.
One of my favorite things to do on Twitter is just kind of scroll and come across some of the parents of the players and their reactions to good games. And your mom is always representing for you. How does that make you feel, knowing that your mom is vocal and always having your back?
Man, I love her, man. She's always been somebody that has had my back, you know, through everything in life, not just through basketball, through school, but through Christ, through my life, you know, just my walk, my journey. And I think it's important for somebody to be so vocal about that. It really, you know, it has my back, and it's great for me to see, you know, on Twitter, just knowing that my mom is out there speaking, you know, on my game and other people's game, and she just loves the program as a whole. So it's amazing to see stuff like that.
Well, it's amazing to see these guys compete each and every day. The culture is super, super positive. And it's no surprise why these guys are successful. So Mashack's going to be a big part of this team's success, SEC tournament and in the NCAA tournament.
Well, a team-first guy, Jason, who has bought into the teachings of Rick Barnes and staff and continues to improve each and every day. And that's why his game's starting to flourish as he gets a lot more minutes down the stretch.
There you go. Appreciate you stopping in. Good luck in tournament time. If you would like to support the initiative that is the NIL with Spire Sports, be a member online of the Volunteer Club at volunteerclub.com. We will preview the SEC tournament, wrap things up when we come back on the Locker Room, connected by Iris Networks.
The Locker Room is brought to you by Pilot Company, Ted Russell Ford, Food City, and Lincoln Memorial University.
Community banking is about location and much more. It's about family. We reside in your community. We are a part of your community. At Commercial Bank, our commitment extends beyond the walls of our branches. It's displayed each day in the opportunities we provide, the money we give back, and the time we commit, all to help improve the lives of the people, families, and businesses that make our communities great. Commercial Bank, life made better.
Hi, I'm Dr. Michael Costa. Dr. Malone and I here at Knoxville Smiles are here to help you with any of your dental needs, whether it's a routine cleaning, a root canal, or if you just want some advice. Did you know that you don't have to settle for a denture anymore? My team and Dr. Malone are here to help you no matter where you're at and to help you figure out the truth for your dental health. So give us a call or visit our website at knoxvillesmiles.com.
Matlock Tire has a reputation for being a little bit old school. We're proud to be known for our outstanding hometown customer service. We've been doing things that way for over 60 years. But Matlock now offers new modern conveniences, such as family-friendly waiting areas, online appointment scheduling. You can even shop for tires and see our current stock right from your computer or smartphone. We invite you to stop into one of our 5 convenient locations or come see us online at matlocktireservice.com. Modern convenience, hometown service. Matlock Tire Service and Auto Repair.
Hi, I'm Anderson County head football coach David Gillen, and I want to tell you about my friends at Exterior Home Solutions, East Tennessee's first choice in roofing. They've been servicing East Tennessee for over 20 years, achieving a 4.9 rating on Google reviews, and are listed as a platinum contractor by Owens Corning. Financing is available. I invite you to learn more about my friends at Exterior Home Solutions on their website, exteriorhomesolutions.com, or give them a call at 865-524-5888.
So we head to the SEC tournament. Now where Tennessee is, we get about 40 seconds left. You think they're still a 4 seed?
Yes.
Do you really?
I do. I think they're a 4.
What if they have to get a win in the SEC tournament? Does it matter?
I mean, yeah, because I think if you can't lose to South Carolina or Ole Miss, I think that, again, you're winning the game you weren't supposed to be in. So,
to me, it just doesn't matter. It's about how these guys play. I mean,
you don't care.
Yeah, they could be a 3, they could be a 4. It
could be a 5.
Just get a good draw and just play well and make shots. I mean, just don't let what happened happened last year against Michigan.
I just want him to get to Alabama in the semifinal. Let's see what happens. That's our last show of the year. We'll see you again in the fall. Go Vols in baseball, basketball, and everything else. Have a good one.